Do you ever wonder what makes you like a piece of media? A movie, a show, a video, or just a photo? At this point in time, we are overwhelmed by the number of media out there. In fact, we can barely stop consuming it in our daily life. Nonetheless, we all have a feeling of what makes a piece of media good or bad. So the question should be simple, but as we know, it's a bit more complicated. What makes a video, a movie, a game, or just an image good? Or better phrased, why do we like a certain piece of media? Psychology is a fascinating and complex topic, and there are many interesting areas to dive into. So of course, there are several important aspects of psychology in media as well. Here, I want to dive into mainly two of them. We won't spend much time with production quality. Structure, story, color, music and much more all have their own interesting sides. But luckily, most of the time, good quality is easy to spot, and we're usually able to determine it in the first few seconds. Nonetheless, the importance of quality cannot be underestimated. In my opinion, for movies or shows, trailer, opening shots and credits are good indicators for the production quality. And for most media in general, sound and imagery are usually used to determine quality. Everyone likes a good trailer, an opening shot that instantly catches you, great soundtracks, or just well-crafted credits. In the past, many movies did not pay attention to their credits, but in recent times, I feel like more care is given to them. The way The Mandalorian keeps the audience watching is just one example. There are also the primacy and recency effect, which in short make you remember the beginning and ending better than the stuff in the middle, which might influence your quality judgment. There are even more effects that can influence this. But there are also pieces of media with at least questionable quality that we really like, sometimes because of their signature quality. Old videos and pictures are just one instance of this. They might even have the best quality available at their time. But in contrast to today, it's not considered standard or good. So the quality of production can't be the only aspect making us like or dislike something. Probably the first that comes to mind is nostalgia, and that's the right direction. We cannot always separate emotions and production quality, but there's a lot of research on emotions. All in all, there's no doubt that emotions play an important role in liking something. So, what about old movies, videos, or photos? Surely we would prefer the same content with great quality over poor quality. Media about or from a special day or person is often liked even instead of its poor quality, because it's not only the quality that's important for us, and this extends out of family and friends. YouTube, TikTok and Twitch are massive platforms with an almost infinite amount of media. You could for the rest of your life watch new YouTube videos or watch live streams without a break. And I bet you have subscribed to several YouTubers where you watch and wait for every new video to upload. Or you wait for your favorite streamer to go live. These pieces of media are clearly good in your mind. You like them. Yet, I'm sure you have not only subscribed to the top quality channels. This is subjective. We all have different opinions and interests. So this is the part where personality, emotions and interests play a role. Interest in the theme of media can be extremely important part of liking or disliking something. You like a certain game or movie, you will more likely like things that have to do with it. This is partly due to the mere exposure effect. Spending more time with something makes it easier for you to understand it, and therefore more likable. It's an evolutionary reason. The brain wants to save as much energy as possible, and the easier something is to process, the more we like it. Spending more time with something makes it easier to process it. Of course, just watching something, or even watching it over and over again, doesn't necessarily mean you will eventually like it. To get back to emotions, we have to take a look at the story. Not if it makes sense, if the structure is good or parts like this. We have to look at what is portrayed by the story and how. I think this is the most important part of what makes you like something. It is about emotions and how they are displayed. Movies and games make it quite clear, often even as main part of their story. YouTube videos and other forms of media as well have values and emotions they communicate. Arguably, some more than others. Sure, there are some videos that don't really fit in, and for them production quality is more important. There's no doubt that big franchises like Star Wars and Lord of the Rings have been doing a great job at this. Well, at least for the most part. Their stories are brought to life through sound and imagery. And surely, their work with emotions isn't bad at all. There are many other great movies, series and videos out there, which do a great job with emotions. But one show I want to highlight, because of its masterclass with emotions, is MASH. MASH is a show about a mobile army surgery hospital that is stationed in Korea during the Korean War. It's an older show. Sound and image quality is certainly not what you would expect nowadays. But the way this show manages to portray its emotions and values is astonishing. I highly recommend you giving it a try. It's not completely without its flaws, but there's a reason it was so popular at its time. The show uses emotions and lets them work. The single episodes are not packed with action. They often give time for emotions to settle. Another place where I've noticed this is the anime scene. In recent years, the anime industry has grown and become more popular than ever, especially in the Western regions. It has gained a lot of traction. I'm by no means an anime expert, and I know there's a wide range in terms of content quality out there, but there are certainly some studios who have been doing an exceptional work in the field of emotions. Prominent studios like Ghibli have achieved astonishing results with not only their art style, but their focus on this exceptional portrayal of emotions. There's this term anime aesthetic, which I've stumbled across quite a lot looking into it. It is so prominent for a reason. Small scenes, or even just a single image, portraying a certain feeling. This does not mean other forms of media don't have this. Just that the anime scene seems to be the most prominent at the moment. So everyone has their favorite movie, their favorite series, their favorite video. Because of their story, the exceptional portrayal of emotions and values, or just because the sound and imagery is astonishing? Or is it because you relate to it? Because you dream of it? Emotions are contagious. They are transferable. Just seeing an emotion activates the same areas in your brain responsible for feeling this emotion. Seeing them makes you feel them. This is why they are so important in media. This is what makes photos so great. It's not only about the quality or the colors. It's about what it means to you. Sure, we might not necessarily identify with characters directly. Most of us are for certain not working in an active war zone, in a mobile army surgery hospital, or in some miracle enemy story. Yet emotions are universal. That's why you might love a certain nature scene, or chaotic and funny YouTube videos with poor image and sound quality. It's the emotions that we feel from it. Emotions we relate to or wish for. And when they even have great production quality, there's almost nothing that stops you from watching and liking it. Trailer and opening ceremonies of sport events are usually pretty good at this. They cater towards your interests and dreams. They manage to hook you and your emotions. Of course, this doesn't only work with happiness or excitement. Sadness and grief are emotions as well, and they seem just as important, if not even more important, in media. We might not be able to always relate to the exact situation, but we can relate to the emotions. That's what makes these scenes so strong. Sometimes they are feelings we can hardly express, but we can relate to them. From my point of view, modern media is going more towards production quality, not thinking too much about the emotional part, or what exactly they want to display, and if it works, it's a valid strategy. In the end, as we all have guessed, to the most part, it is subjective. Everyone likes something different and prefers something else. Now I'm just here to present you some psychological fundamentals and my opinion on these things. Media is as broad as it gets. And these are just some things to keep in mind that can influence this and are being used in all kinds of media and for different purposes, from marketing to art, or just making a video. I'm sure we will see more research in this area in the future. Good production is important, but portrayal of emotions can have an even bigger impact on liking something. And remember, from time to time, our taste and preferences can change.